Hey guys, it's Justin back with Engineer's Perspective, and another kind of different video from my normal. I just want everybody to keep in mind, I'm just a tool lover. My favorite kind of tool are knives, but I just love tools. And moved into a new house. I've been doing a bunch of DIY kind of repairs and work. And I used to have a bag that I would work from, but it wasn't doing what I needed to do, so I took my circular saw out of this bag, and this now is what I just call my DIY bag. And the purpose of it is when I come up with something that I want to do, or something breaks, or my wife asks me to do it, I just pick up this bag and I go there. And this will usually take care of the job, or there's very minimal other things I need to grab along with it. And because it's what I'm enjoying and passionate about right now, I wanted to share it with you. So, whole package weighs 22 pounds. I just weighed it. This is my second iteration of it, throwing out things that I don't use and adding in a couple of things. And I am trying out a few things here and there as well, so keep that in mind. But let's just kind of start on the outside and we'll work our way around. So, over here is a good set of Allen keys. These are just SAE. These are Bondus, good brand. They got the round tips so you can get at angles. Here's kind of my general multi-pliers. They're Knipex with a comfort grip. There's the number right there. These are pretty new to me, so I'm trying these out. I didn't have just like a generic pair of pliers, so I'm trying these out. These may stay, they may go. One of the most important tools, tape measure. This is a Stanley Fat Max 25 footer. Great reach, nice thick tape. It's really a really great tape. Love the clip on it. Made in the USA, which I always like. It's a little bit bulky in the hand, so I don't love that part of it, but this is a great tape. Shouldn't be anything in there. So back here is the Leatherman Crunch. In case I need that third hand to hold on to something, the Crunch is very lightweight. So that's why I use it as my vice grip. This is another one that I don't use that much, so that might go. Up front here, got my razor, Milwaukee Fastback, just like standard version. Some replaceable carbide blades. I've got a ThruNite TN12 here. This one I tend not to use, even though there's the adjustable settings. I actually just almost always grab the Streamlight Stylus Pro. So I think this is another one that might go as well. So those are my handheld lights. Let's flip around to the other side. I've got a mini tape measure in case I set this one down and can't find it, but mostly because it holds my electrical tape on there. I know they make things, but I had that, so what the heck. Down in here is the all-important super glue. It's JB Weld brand. I've got a bunch of pigtails in here. Some of them are pre-cut, some of them are stripped, some aren't. Just a plastic putty knife, and then a painter's multi-tool. That's what I'm using out here. I haven't used this that much, but I do like the scraper for scraping off like the paint stirrers, and then also the round ones for scraping off rollers to clean them up. Mainly what I use it for, I kind of use this corner to kind of like gouge into things occasionally. So that one I do keep, but that's kind of on the edge. And then I've kind of got fasteners over here. Well, I've got 1/4-inch washers, 632 electrical screws, and then 1-inch screws that I used to hang a lot of stuff. I wish they were like 1.5 or something, but they don't have them at Home Depot. Up front, I've got a bunch of these spacks. So 1.5 I mostly use, but I've got 1.25 and 3/4. I would not mind having like a number 6 1/2 inch Just a real small screw, one of these. And then down in the bottom, I've got a 2-inch construction screw. So, nice and down. Back behind this one, I've got the green wire nuts with the pass-through ground. Up front, I've got red and yellows. Yeah, I took out everything back there. So that's the outsides. Now to kind of the meat and potatoes on the inside. So I'll kind of show you. You can see that there's the pockets on the sides where I keep most of the tools, and then down in here I've got a couple. So I'll start from down in. Sorry for the really shaky table. So I've got my drill bit set. It's a DeWalt set I've had for years, from 1/16 to 1/2 inch. I've done mostly wood and drywall with it, but it does a really good job on metal too. So that's great. This is a little bit newer for me. I had a Craftsman set of bits for a long time, but it was missing some of the things I wanted, so I got this Milwaukee one. So you can see it's got a good range there. Next up is my drill. So I'm actually team yellow with all my power tools. So I've got 2 Milwaukee power tools, and it's this drill here. This is the hammer drill M12 with a 2 amp hour battery in it. Got this because it's compact. I needed compact, and the highest end drill for M12 is a hammer drill. So that's kind of silly, but it is what it is. Model number 2504-20. I don't love it, but it is a nice drill. It's quite heavy, but. Then here's the impact driver, also 2 amp hour M12. Really like this guy, light, powerful. It's got different speed settings. This is model number 2553-20. So for drilling holes and for driving fasteners. Also down in here, I've got a headlamp, which I use a lot when I cut power and I'm working on a light switch or something. Here's a small container of spackling. This is the Drydex dry time indicator stuff. It's really thick. I actually don't like this very much. I much prefer some of the other DAP products. I can't, like their premium, the stuff that was like gold, got the gold kind of color on it. That's my favorite probably right now. But this is the smallest container I have, so I like to keep it in here. My trusty old 8-ounce hammer, mostly used for driving these little nails or just little things. This around the house, this actually really does a lot of it. It's a total piece of junk, but it works. So that old guy. Some 11-inch zip ties, ones that I don't use much actually around the house. But sometimes they're nice for cord management or hoses and such. They're so light and low pro that I probably would never take them out because they just sit down there. And then last is my demo driver. It is a 5/16 Husky brand, super robust. It's basically there to destroy other things. So that's called the demo driver. Always got to have one of those. All right. Now into the pockets. So once again, you can see the bottoms cleared. Let's start with my screwdrivers. So my most used one is a number 2 Phillips. So you can see I just marked it there. This is a Fellow brand, so made in Germany. It's a 1,000-volt insulated screwdriver. Honestly, when you start looking at sets of screwdrivers that you can get of quality ones, they're all around like 40 to 60 bucks. You get like 6 drivers, 5 or 6 of them, and insulated or not, they're all kind of around that price. I'm doing a bunch of electrical work, so the insulated makes a lot of sense for me. I just say get the insulated if you think you're ever going to do electrical work because the price is the same. But super high quality screwdrivers, these Fellow ones, Wera, Weha, all good, really great. I wish I got the all plastic. I wish I had gotten like a rubbery one. So there's the number 2 Phillips. Here's a uninsulated Wera after that whole speech. but it's kind of hard to find a #1 Phillips or #1 square. So #1 square, because a lot of those outlet electrical screws are #1 square. This is actually my second most used driver. Once again, a fellow. This is a 5.5 millimeter flathead. Really great screwdriver again. And I've got the little 2.5 millimeter fellow for set screws. Those are my drivers. One of my favorite tools is this Klein Tools torpedo level here with the magnetic base. It's, you know, very, very high quality, very nice torpedo level. I made a rookie mistake. This is a super nice level and I love it, but I always like to have the ruler. So I really wish I would have bought either a Klein one or another, you know, brand that had the ruler on it, but really great level. Really love this thing. Don't live with a bad level. Just don't. All right, so next up is I've got all 3 of these driver extensions. Normally I would keep the extension in the case, but, and I don't like using it all the time, but the way this is set up, or I use these ones almost exclusively in my impact. So I like to have quick access, and with these long shanks, they stick up out of the pockets in there. So it would be like that, how you can just reach in and grab them so they don't get lost down in there. So that's why I have them on here. I do have from Amazon a little like carabiner thing, and you can like stick them in there, like quick detach. So that'll replace this setup. But for now, I've got these 3. So #2 Phillips, 3/16 flathead, and a #1 square. The #1 square is in the Milwaukee Quick Lock. The Quick Lock works great, but it's kind of awkward having all that weight out at the tip, so I don't really love it. But once again, it works. I think there's things that would be better and worse for, depending on what you're driving. But so I've got those 3 are my main ones that I use a lot. That covers those. Next up, well, let's skip. Oh, no, we'll go right into them. So right now, my absolute main pliers that I'm using regularly are actually these things right here. These are the Milwaukee 7-inch combo electrician pliers or whatever. Model number 48223078. So basically it's a combination of like lineman's pliers. You can see they've got the fat head there, and strippers. They're they're good. That's what I'll say, they're good. I much prefer my standard lineman's for twisting wire and basically doing anything like that. And I prefer my standard wire stripper for wire stripping. However, this puts both of those in one tool. It's just a lot easier being able to work with just one tool. It usually has a spring up in here. I just recently took it out to see if I prefer it without the spring, because generally I don't like them. So we'll see how I like that. The cutters are amazing down in here. The strippers are good, maybe not great. And the gripping section does have a crosshatch, which I like, but it's so far away from the pivot, and Milwaukee doesn't have a high leverage pivot either, but it's so far away, and they could be wider in my opinion, that they're not ideal for twisting wire. And then with the spring in it too, like you're constantly having to fight the spring to keep them clamped as you're turning, depending on how you like to do it. So they're not great at anything, but they're good at all of them, I think. So it's also got 632 and 832 threader or screw cutters, threaders or whatever, and then a crimper down there that I've never tried. Very comfortable grip in terms of applying force, but it's way too tacky for my preference. So a much better example of how to do a similar grip is what Knipex has done on their comfort grip, where the red is like hard plastic and the blue is like very slightly tacky. So I don't like the tacky of these. I would buy the Knipex version of these, probably would be my recommendation. You could try the Klein Tools one too, but those are so hit and miss, it seems. good quality, but you know. Anyways, I like Knipex, so. But this is my main tool. I really do like these. All right, onwards. Non-contact voltage tester. This is just some random brand that's been working really well for me. I'll probably get a Klein Tools one when this one dies, but so that's a really important tool there. Outlet tester, also super important with the GFCI button. I like this one because it's got a lot of like combinations for troubleshooting. For marking up, I've got thin Sharpie, standard Sharpie, and then pencil. Of course, I've got the Knipex Cobras. This is the 250 millimeters. I like this size because they're overall a light package, super capable and strong. So good for plumbing jobs and for just generally grabbing on things and thrashing them. Here on the other side, I've got the 180 millimeter Knipex plier wrenches. This is the old style. I never need the 250s. So the 180s save me weight, bulk, and they're easier to manipulate, so 180s. I've got two stud finders. Stud Buddy just has magnets, and then I've got one of the zircon whatevers, you know, click the button things. So I don't love this, but it works. I've been using the Stud Buddy more lately. I've got the all-important nail set. I don't actually know the size of it. It's pretty skinny though. It's one of the smaller ones. I could go for this and maybe a smaller one yet, but I use it for setting nails and trim and stuff, but also like as a center punch and woodworking and drywall things and whatever. I have an eraser that's way down in here also for erasing my marks. That requires a plier to grab, so eraser. Next up is my needle nose. This is my third attempt at finding needle nose that I like, and I think I found one. This is a Channel Lock E318CB. So it's an 8-inch needle nose. It has their version of the comfort grip. Really good action. Robust tips. I don't know if you can see that, but they're actually not ground like flat, like they're ground at an angle, so they kind of screwed that up. A little embarrassing, but I'm not going to fix it. It works great. They've got a cross hatch area, then flat. Then you've got your like bigger area, and then the cutters. And they have the high leverage pivot. I have high leverage, or no, I don't. Standard leverage Knipex 8-inch ones that aren't the comfort grip. And I just like that these are a little bit more robust and they're better cutters with that high leverage. So I actually really like these needle nose for getting way into the back of the electrical boxes. So really like those ones. And last are my Knipex diagonal cutters. That's the model right there. Once again, like the Knipex tools, if you didn't figure that out. These ones I'm iffy about because they're real slick and powerful, but the reason why I carry them, excuse me, is because these have been my main tools, and what ends up happening is we got a really congested box and you just want to snip everything free, is I have to slide all the way into there up to the cutters with either of these, and that's usually a pain in the ass. Whereas with this, I can just get right in there and just nip, and that's it. So that's the main reason why I have these. Now that I have these, which are, like I said, a newer acquisition, you can see those cutters are much, much closer to the front. These might have me take these out. Or when I use lineman pliers would normally have the cutters right behind this big section here, and then it's not a problem as well. Not that any of these do the exact job that these diagonal cutters do, but for what I use these things for, that's kind of how that shakes out. But the diagonal cutters, so those are real slick. And that is it. There you go. So that's the inside of the bag. You can see it's got 3 major big pockets with 2 small pockets, and it's the same on each side. And it's just empty in there. So I like it because I can just pick it up and go. And if I need to toss, you know, like a bigger work light or some hardware, I just throw it right in the middle of it and just off I go. So that's it. I'll kind of pick you up. That's the pile, bunch of crap. You know, you might have things that you prefer differently. You know, I'm not going to say that anyone's right or wrong, but this is what's been working for me right now. It's constantly evolving. This is like my second or third revision where I've tossed out things and I've added a few things in, and you know, I'm constantly going back and forth on, you know, if I want to take both of these two things out and then put in my linemans and a stripper, or if I want to switch out you know, my #1 square drive for my Klein ratcheting screwdriver that has the one #1 square and other things on it. So I'm constantly trying out different things, but right now this is what's working for me. So that's it. After 20 minutes, I tried to go fast, but not fast enough. I hope you found this entertaining or interesting, and that's all I've got for you. Have a good one. Bye.